We're just a couple of days away from the start of GoFest 2020. Now, in yesterday's video, we took a look at what things in-game you need to be most concerned about. It was the top 10 tips for preparation, things like having enough Pokemon storage, item management, setting the correct buddy, and things of that sort. If you've not checked out that video just yet, I will put a link up to it up above. Be sure to check that out. A lot of good information in that video. In today's video, we're primarily going to be focusing on what items outside of the game you should be considering to maximize your gameplay experience this weekend. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel, trainers. My name is Oro Chris. I am your catching coach. If you are new to the channel, welcome. We do appreciate you stopping out. If you are interested in Pokemon Go, competitive PvP, and basically anything Pokemon related, consider subscribing. Now, before we get into the tips for what items you need outside of the game, there are some additional things that we've learned from yesterday's video. Some tweets came out by Niantic that I definitely want to make you aware of. Yesterday, we covered this tweet. Trainers, we recommend saving your gift interactions during GoFest Day 1 until the friendship habitat comes to you, as it will feature a global challenge to send gifts to friends. If the goal is met, gifts opened in the rest of the habitat's time may contain an unexpected item. Now, there's been some promotional material released that seems to indicate that that may be rare candy. What we've learned since then is that the additional tweet here, all trainers will also be able to open, send, and collect up to 200 gifts during the first day of Pokemon Go Fest in your local time zone. Please keep in mind that you can hold 20 gifts maximum at a single time. But what's most important is to know that even if you're staying at home, playing from home, 200 gifts in the course of a day, if we average out about 7 red balls per gift opening, at least 5, that's typically been my experience when I'm opening up gifts. What that means is 200 gifts throughout the course of the day. You're going to be able to keep your bags full without having to be near Pokestops to enjoy this weekend's experience. So that is definitely good news. And then in addition to that, according to Mercury News, there has been the schedule released for when those habitats will be rotating during Day 1. So I'm here on mercurynews.com. I'll put a link to the news article discussing this particular topic in the description down below. But according to their reporting, the first day's hours for the Eastern and Western time zone trainers here in America, respectively. For Eastern time zone, at 10 o'clock when the event starts for us on the East Coast, it's going to be the battle hour. What's important for us to know is that at 11 o'clock, that is when that friendship habitat is going to be rotating. So that is the time when there's going to very likely be some type of a global challenge occurring. That's when you'll want to be focused on that global challenge, because if we complete the tasks associated with that global challenge, that's when you can potentially get those extra unexpected items in gifts when you have interactions with friends. After 11, then we're going to rotate into the fire habitat. At 1 o'clock, we'll have the water habitat, and it's at that point that the West Coast trainers will be beginning the event. That'll be 10 o'clock their local time zone. And then grass rotating the next hour, battle, friendship, fire, water, grass. And that will conclude the event for us East Coast trainers, and then it'll continue for a few more hours for the West Coast trainers until they hit 8 p.m. local time for them. So particularly important, have your eyes on those friendship hours. On the East Coast, that's going to be 11 o'clock, and at 4 o'clock, those are when those hours are going to be starting for us trainers here on the East Coast. Be particularly aware of how the global challenges are occurring. Focus on completing tasks during those times, and then if we complete the challenge prior to the time when the hour rotates to the next habitat, that's when you'll be wanting to open more gifts during that period. Now, the biggest news that we've got since yesterday's video came out, we did learn, I was focused on the importance of Pokemon storage and clearing out bag space. Praise the heavens, they did increase the maximum amount of Pokemon storage that you're capable of holding. If you go into the shop, you'll see now that Pokemon storage can be expanded up to a maximum of 3,500 spots. So that is awesome right before this event, and I had not done my purge of Pokemon, so that lets me potentially have a little bit more of a leeway on things that I want to cut. There was some news recently dropped about Season 3 coming out in Go Battle League and some changes, some move shakeups, so I'm glad that I had not purged some of those Pokemon. We'll be covering Season 3 and the move shakeup in a later video, but for here and now, know that For 200 Pokecoins, you can add an extra 50 spots of Pokemon storage, up to a maximum of 3,500 this weekend. 2 days, 10 hours each, 20 hours of gameplay this weekend. Now, if you have not maxed out your bag, is very likely the best time to do it. Now, as far as preparation for this event outside of in-game activities, first off, I'm going to warn you, your phone during the course of, if you're going to be playing for 10 hours on Saturday, a 10-hour span, this is going to, 1, eat up power, and 2, going to really heat up this phone. Especially if you're considering playing outside of your home, if you're not going to be engaging in the full play at home experience. If you do venture out, if you're in the sun, that's going to be particularly important. If that is your plan, if you're going to be out and about trying to make this as close to a traditional Pokemon Go Fest experience as possible, one tip I would recommend: consider removing the case from your phone. One, it's very likely that if you're running an OtterBox like I do for that extra protection, a dark case is going to absorb more heat from sunlight. It's very possible that your phone, like mine, may be lighter colored than the case itself. That lighter color is going to reflect more light. It's going to reflect more heat from the sun. It's not going to be absorbing the heat, and therefore it's going to help to keep the phone cooler. Without a big, heavy rubber case like an OtterBox, like what I've got, it's also going to keep the phone cooler, letting it help to breathe. So those are all particularly important things. If you're going to be playing for a long period of time, keeping your phone as cool and happy as possible is going to be very important. Secondly, if you're capable, turn down the brightness of your phone. The less bright the screen, one, the less power you're going to be using, and the cooler, very likely, the phone is going to be kept. Number 3, shut down other apps. If it's possible, close out of those other apps. Whatever's running in the background, 1 is going to be using more battery, and then 2 is going to be charging, and then 2 is going to be heating up the phone more than just having Pokemon Go going during the course of the day. So try to close those other apps if possible. That's going to help to keep the phone running more efficiently and let you play more throughout the course of the event. And then finally, if you're capable, if you've got access to something like a peripheral accessory, an auto catcher, a Pokemon Go Plus, a Pokeball Plus, a Gacha, if you're so inclined, any of those things, that will enable you from time to time to turn off the screen altogether, let the phone cool down. Potentially don't put it in your pocket to get it all warm again, but turn the screen off, and then be using the Pokeball Plus or something else to be trying to catch Pokemon during that downtime. And speaking of turning off your screen, let's talk a little bit more in depth about those peripheral accessories. Things like the Gacha, the Pokemon Go Plus, and the Pokeball Plus. Now, I'm not going to go into great detail on each of these. If you are interested in my thoughts on each of these particular items, put a comment down below and I can cover that in a video on a later date. For here and now, just know that I think it's going to be particularly important during the course of the weekend to have access to some type of a peripheral accessory, whether that's the Pokeball Plus or the Gacha. Have something that's going to enable you to be catching Pokemon while not having your face in the phone during that entire time. One, it's going to be exhausting to do this for 10 hours straight. I know we all love Pokemon Go, but this is going to get old real quick. Having something that's going to enable you to put the phone away for a certain period of time, potentially while you're eating lunch, taking a break, talking to friends, playing with the kids, something else, it'll enable you to continue to play the game and get those experience, the Stardust, get all those Pokemon caught, potentially open up your bag when you come back to the game and find that you've caught some shinies without even having to catch the Pokemon yourself by the Pokeball Plus doing it for you. Those are going to make overall the efficiency of your gameplay exponentially better. It makes all the difference. I think it's really important to add one of those accessories to your game management. Now, as far as prep for this weekend, be sure that these things are charged. If you're using the Pokeball Plus, I typically can make it through a full day of gameplay when I'm playing at a community day without having to recharge this. But over the course of 10 hours, it is possible that that's a challenge. I have not put this thing through the ringer like that before. It may be worth it to bring this takes a Type-C charger. it may be worth it to bring a specific charger for your peripheral accessories. For the gacha, it has its own charger itself. Bring that, have some backups, potentially bring both, bring a Pokemon Go Plus as well. Have some of those things that you can transition to additional accessories if the charge goes bad on one of these particular devices. It won't connect, something goes astray or something of that sort. And while we're on the topic of things going astray and needing power and chargers, be sure to bring and have a fully charged power bank with you if you're going to be venturing out this weekend. Now again, all the disclaimers aside, follow the guidance of your local health authorities, social distance, maintain, safety and all that good stuff aside. But if you're going to venture out, if you want to have that traditional Go Fest experience where you're out and about in nature near some Pokestops trying to find those Pokemon, you're going to run through your battery very quickly. I guarantee it. Having a power bank is going to ensure that you can continue to play throughout the day. Now, this particular model, this is a RAV Power. I cannot recommend this particular model of charger. I don't know necessarily whether or not RAV Power is a brand that you can trust generally, but this particular one, the gripe that I have with this, if you have not gotten a power bank yet and you're looking to make that purchase for this weekend, this takes a micro USB charger. The challenge with this, once this is fully charged, my iPhone, I can charge it 3-4 times without an issue. It's not that it doesn't have enough power charged in the device or that it doesn't keep my phone charged. The issue is once this thing runs out of juice, it will sit on a charger, sometimes, I am not exaggerating, for over 24 hours before it's fully charged again. I remember last year in Chicago for GoFest, I was participating at Worlds. I go to GoFest that first day of the event, and I get done. I get home very, very late. I'm out with some friends playing PvP and things like that. I get back to where I'm staying at a friend's apartment. I plug the RAV Power back in. It's completely empty at this point. Plug the RAV Power in, wake up just like 5 or 6 hours later because I had to meet some friends very early. It's just the life we grinders live. And it had like 2 bars of charge. Now, friends of mine, they said when they got back to their hotel, they charged theirs up and it was fully charged using a Type-C connector. But this particular model only takes a micro USB. Type-C is much more effective as far as a fast charge. I have used big power blocks. It does not it's not the fact that the power block wasn't shooting enough. It's just you can't get enough juice into a micro USB. In my opinion, my experience, and at least with this particular model. So find a power bank that has fast charging capability. Now I need to distinguish and clarify, I'm talking about fast charging for the power bank itself, not that it will fast charge your phone or your computer or something else quickly. You need to ensure that it can be charged quickly. That is a pro tip that I really have to stand behind. If you need to pay a little bit more to get that Type-C charger that is going to enable it to get charged more quickly, it ensures that when you're in events like this, over a 2-day event, playing for 20 hours, you're going to have enough power getting to your devices and be able to enjoy the full experience of the weekend. Along those same lines, if you are venturing out, pack a bag. It's going to make everything a little bit easier. And in the bag, you definitely want to bring, even if you have the power bank, bring a power block, something that's going to be charging your devices if you're near a wall outlet. It's going to enable you, one, to save the charge in the power bank, but these typically charge a little bit quicker because they can draw more power from the wall outlet. Similarly, bring extra cables. I would bring 2 or 3 of each of the particular devices that you're going to be using. You may have friends near you, people that are inside your house. Again, maintain social distancing and everything of that sort. But if you've got additional friends that want to use a charger, share those resources together. It's going to help you enjoy the experience a little bit more, be more effective, get more done. And of course, it almost goes without saying, but I'll remind you nonetheless, if you're going to be out, wear sunscreen, protect yourself from the elements, bring a hat. Now this one here, you may be asking yourself, Chris, did you open a merch store? No, I did not open a merch store. But my lovely daughter, as a Christmas gift, she said, Daddy would probably love some merch. So she had this hat made for Christmas, and I just absolutely love it. So thank you to her. I want to note her for that on the channel. Of course, protect yourself from the elements. And you will need sustenance, water, some food. Now these are Quest protein bars. Again, Quest, nobody's sponsoring this video, just letting you know these are gluten-free and they are delicious. So something to try out. And as we mentioned a moment ago, of course, hand sanitizer going to be of the absolute highest priority, as well as a facial covering. Now I know I'm going to try to speak up so you can hear me. You want to maintain social distancing. You want to have a face covering if it's required in your local area. Even if it's not required in your local area, probably a best practice. I would recommend it. Now, this weekend, if you are going to be out and about to maximize the experience, get near some Pokestops, get out into a park or into the woods or something like that, wear comfortable shoes, wear compression shorts, wear something that's going to enable you to be physically active and safe. And then the final item, this might be the true grinder's way of life. I would recommend bringing a secondary phone. A second phone in the event while you're out playing, if your phone does die, if you run out of charge, it gets dropped into a friend's cup of tea or something else, you trip and fall and you don't have the case on it as I just recommended. Again, be careful. You drop the phone, crack the screen, something else. Having an old phone as a backup is going to be extremely valuable. One, it's going to enable you to give that phone a rest if it is a little bit older in age, if the battery is a little bit more rough for the wear. And this will enable you to continue to play if you want to maintain or maximize that playing experience this weekend. If you are staying at home, they do have arts and crafts for the kids. You can bring Pokemon Go Fest to your own home. There are paper crafts available. We have got the full assortment: Squirtle, Charmander, Pikachu. I mean, so many things. I'm dropping them here. They've got all sorts of in-person live events ready and waiting for your playing experience. I will put a link to the paper crafts that are available. They are free to download, cut them out, put them on some nice paper stock, have the kids play around with them. It will definitely make the experience more festive and more fun in that regard. And then finally, they have informed us that there will be virtual team lounges. Now, these are going to be those micro sites that they previously announced. The microsites are going to give specific events. They're going to have an opportunity for you to have some interaction with the CEO of Niantic, John Hankey. They'll have some discussions about how they went through the planning for GoFest, some of the behind the scenes about why certain decisions were made and things of that sort. I will put a link to the virtual team lounge website in the description down below. Be sure to check that out. But as you can see, a lot is going to be happening this weekend. A prepared trainer is a happy trainer. The more that you can plan ahead, if you're going to be venturing out, the more you can enjoy this weekend's experience. I have loved GoFest. Maybe not the first year. I will admit the first year was a rough experience. But years 2 and 3, GoFest has been some of the most fun that I've had playing the game, and I am very confident, given what we've had indicated for this year's GoFest, that we're going to have even more fun this year. I do want to thank you for sticking around until the end of the video. And until next time, happy catching.